My name is Chris. I'm happy to introduce Oasis. This is a project to do a complete sustainability footprint of Switzerland. Of course, this is not a new idea. People even in this room have done similar types of projects in the past, and we know that, for example, the BAFU has funded similar types of projects for at least 10 years. We think that these projects were great at their time, but of course, as our knowledge evolves, as more data becomes available, we can do better. That's the idea of our project, to do a complete sustainability footprint, and we want to go beyond, for example, what people have done before, which is very detailed Swiss-specific data, and then we have the rest of the world. Now, we know that when you have incomplete or inaccurate information, you can end up saying things which sound silly or even absurd. Recent events have proved this. However, we think that because we have this new information, because we have new methods, we can actually do better than, for example, have one container which is the rest of the world. We can split the world into different types of regions, and we can also approve regionalized impact assessment. That means we can actually identify and quantify the region or site-specific impacts of different fluxes to or from the environment. That's, in general, what life cycle assessment tries to do. In this slide, I'm showing you that's a bit embarrassing. Please ignore that thing on the upper right-hand corner. So for regionalized assessment, we can try to address these incomplete problems, or we can, yes. So regionalized impact assessment, the slide that you were seeing before, was showing you that you can have eco-event, which is quote-unquote state-of-the-art, is still missing quite a lot of the economy. And so what we need to do is improve upon that. How do we do that? We are trying to do, in the core of our project, is to integrate ExilBase, which is a multi-region input-output table, with eco-event. Now, eco-event is technology-rich. In other words, it's very specific models for a certain type of cement production. ExilBase would have economic survey data, which covers the entire economy, but in very aggregated fashion. And the first PhD under the leadership of Stefan Paliuk at the University of Freiburg will be doing this in a scientific and transparent fashion. We want to bring this hybrid together, but not do it on an ad hoc basis. So, sorry, I'm a bit nervous. This is a little bit unnerving, huh? Every 20 seconds. We want to extend things as well. So it's not just better data, but different types of data. So we want to include, for example, social impacts. So we're going to incorporate the social hotspots database, which includes over 100 social indicators, things like child labor, no right to unionize, modern slavery, et cetera, and put that into ExilBase and eco-event. We're also going to look at, aside from environmental indicators, resource indicators. So we have existing resource criticality indicators. This is the second PhD by Patrick Weger at Emper, is going to be taking these criticality indicators, applying them in the Swiss context, and then and adapting them, and including this information, again, back into eco-event and ExilBase, so that we have a more complete sustainability picture of Swiss consumption and production. Now, this is a big project, and we're not going to be able to get it right at first, so what we've designed is an iterative process. What that means is we're going to have 2 different rounds of sensitivity testing of this very large integrated database, and each time we do this sensitivity testing, we're going to isolate opportunities to either do new data collection or to improve upon the existing data, and we also have a relatively decent budget in order to go out and get that information from different project partners so that we can produce a database where we're always trying to lower the total uncertainty. The third PhD then is the one that's going to bring all this information together. So the third PhD will be at the Paul Scherrer Institute, working with me, and they will be doing integrated assessment, an integrated assessment of Swiss consumption and production. And as part of this PhD, this person will also try to identify lever points in the economy. So where are there places where we can make changes which not only would have a large impact on our total footprint, but also where there is the opportunity for substitutions to come into place. It doesn't do any good to find a large impact if there's no alternative to such a technology. Whew. So, we know that different people see the world in different ways, and we want to make our results as useful as possible. What that means is we need to get all the different stakeholders participating in the project. So we're going to develop a stakeholder advisory group with including people from the regulators, the consumers or retailers, and the scientific experts. And we are going to rely on that stakeholder advisory group and Barbara to develop a communication strategy. We want people who don't necessarily want to consume complicated information or maybe can't consume complicated information information to be able to understand and work with the results that are coming out of our project in the end. We don't want this to be a purely scientific endeavor, but something which can be applied in the real world. As an example of that, one of the things we will do in the end is produce a website, and this website will have the ability for you not only to compare your impact versus the average Swiss person, but hopefully also on the Gemeinde level to be able to say you versus your neighbors. And hopefully this gets back to what we heard about themes of gamification, et cetera, et cetera. Now, openness is a core part of our philosophy, both on a project level and a personal level, and that means all of the code and all of the data will be as open and transparent as possible starting from day one. We think this is not only vital as a part of something to be included in future democratic decision-making, but it's also a management tool because our project is very complex. There's interdependencies between all the different work packages, and if we don't have open data and if we don't have well-defined standards for moving data back and forth, then we're going to get confused or we won't be able to have all the work packages synchronizing together. It's relatively ambitious, and actually it's going to, yeah, we'll see how it works. So here's my pitch to you. This project, our project, is going to be much better if we have a teamwork, and that involves everyone in this room, hopefully, because if we can incorporate your data into our global picture, our global database, our results can be better, and we can also help provide stuff to you. So we are willing and able to work with you to do a sustainability assessment of all the different industry-specific sectors you're looking at, and if we work together, things can turn out to be much bigger than you would have expected. Thanks.